Hello, all my friends in TV land. This is Senior Issues, etc. I'm your host, Vita Verdon, and I've got a really good, informative show for you today. So hurry up, get your coffee, get your Coke, get your tea, sit down, paper and pencil, a lot of information. What we're going to talk about, this show is all about voting. And I've got the expert here with us today. Now, our guest today, it's our honor to have her here. She's a really qualified person. She's our county clerk in Lake County, Illinois, and her name is Carla Wyckoff. Sit back, relax. Welcome, Carla. So good to have you here on the show today. We've got a lot to talk about. I'd like you to look right in that camera, and I know how they're my friends out there, and they're your friends too. That you just look in there and tell them a little bit about yourselves. They like to get like up close and personal. So I know this is your third career. You're really qualified for this job. Tell them a little bit about yourself, right in there.
Well, first of all, Vita, thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate any opportunity to talk about registration and voting. But a little about my background. The last 20 years, I actually spent as an assistant state's attorney in the Lake County State's Attorney's Office. Although the first few years, I was a criminal prosecutor. The last 14 years in the office, I was in the civil division, and one of my major responsibilities was to serve as the attorney for the county clerk and the county clerk's office. So I had the opportunity for many years to get acquainted with my predecessor, Willard Helander, all of the county clerk's staff, and to learn a lot about the laws that dictate how we do elections, not only in the state of Illinois, but then obviously specifically in Lake County. When my predecessor announced she was retiring, I had never even thought about being in a political office or running for office, but it just occurred to me at the time that because of my background, I could make a substantive contribution. So I did run, and I was elected in 2014. I grew up in Lake County. I moved away for a few years, but then moved back in 1990, so I've been here a number of years.
Well, you're really qualified for the job, and we're so happy to have you here. And I know there's always a big turnout for voting in the presidential election, not as much in the local connections. So I think that what we'll do is we'll jump right into it and start right from scratch. I think the first thing that we want to clear up is registration, right, Carla?
Yes, if you're not registered to vote, now is a good time to think about that and get it done. We had a significant turnout at the primary, and we're expecting the same thing in November. If you want to register in person, you have until October 11th to do that. You can register with a deputy registrar at your public library, your township office, your city hall. Again, up until October 11th, or even the Department of Motor Vehicles if you have to update your driver's license or have any transaction there. After October 11th, you can still register online. You can go on a computer, you can access our web page, and that is lakecountyclerk.info. And when you get to our homepage, there's an icon over on the left side of the screen that says November 8 election. And if you click on there, it takes you to a page that has the instructions and the link so that you can actually register online.
Now, maybe you would give that website again, so they can take it down, give it very slowly.
Absolutely. lakecountyclerk.info. And then click on the November 8 election icon. But even if you don't get your registration done then, when early voting starts on October 24th, and we have 14 early voting sites all throughout the county, you can do grace registration and voting during early voting. And that's October 24th up through the night before the election, November 7th. And again, on that same page, on our web page, and if you go to the November 8 election icon, there is a link that you can click on that shows a list of all of the early voting sites.
And now, is there also a telephone number?
You can always call the Lake County Clerk's office, and that is 847-377-2400. And we always have a receptionist answering the phone, and you can simply ask or tell the receptionist, I need information about registration, and you'll be directed to the right person.
Also, I'd like to put a footnote because the show is seen in several other counties outside of Lake County. And I think if people would go to their local library, the libraries have all the information. If you go to your local library and go to the reference desk, you can ask and they will tell the area in which the person is living in and where they could go to register to vote. I just wanted to put that as a footnote out there. So, okay, so we've got them registered. Now I know that seniors are a very large voting block. Now, does this include registration? What if a person is living in a nursing home? How could they register? Do you send somebody to nursing homes? What is that?
Well, actually, Vita, we have a regular voting program in nursing homes. We get a list from the state of all the nursing homes that are certified that are going to participate this election. We have 22 of them around Lake County. And what we do is we go to the nursing home ahead of time and make sure that they're registered and assist the residents. Then we go back on the Friday before election and they can actually vote right there in the nursing home. However, if they're in a nursing home that's not part of the program, they can, again, register online. Online, they can download a paper form and fill it out and mail it in. We have a mail-in registration form that they can also do. If they are not, again, if they're in a nursing home that's not part of our program, perhaps they can get a family member to assist them to go to early voting, or they can vote by mail.
Okay, well, if they get a family member, say the person is incapacitated, can this family member vote for them? How does that work?
They cannot vote for them, but we do have a procedure where the voter and the person assisting the voter can sign an affidavit, and the voter signs that saying, yes, I have asked this friend or this family member to help me. The friend or the family member signs the affidavit assuring that they are simply going to assist. They're going to read what's on the ballot, and they are going to select whatever the voter instructs them to select on the ballot.
So they receive assistance?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did we go over all the details of the voting by mail?
We have not. We were really focused more on registration, and perhaps
Okay.
I should mention one other thing,
Okay.
Vita, about registration. The law changed, and during the primary, for the first time, the state law required that we provide Election Day registration in every precinct. And in fact, during the primary, we registered more than 4,000 people on Election Day. However, subsequent to that, a group of plaintiffs filed a lawsuit, and a federal court judge last week issued a preliminary injunction prohibiting us from doing registration in the polling places on Election Day. So we won't be able to do that. However, we will still have it in our office in the county building. If it gets down to the very end and someone's not registered, they can still, on Election Day, come to our office. But again, check your website, check your own county clerk's website.
Because this differs in the counties.
It may be, they may be handled slightly differently if you're in McHenry, say, or Cook County, but please check your county clerk's website. They will give you the last up-to-date information.
Okay, so now this is an important thing, but there's one thing I'd like to mention on this. Say a person is going to vote early, they could still register though on the day, it's just on the day of voting That's the one that's on question.
That's
Am I correct?
That's
in
absolutely
saying that?
correct. During early voting, October 24 through November 7, you can do grace registration and voting in any early voting site in Lake County.
Okay, so we're going to reiterate that. So if you're going in for early voting and you have not registered, that it's still open in most counties. It may vary in county to county because remember, Carla is represented from Lake County, that you could still vote on the day that you're registering. But what's in question, what has been filed in appeal, is on the day, actual voting day.
That's
in November,
correct.
right?
That's correct.
Okay, well, I just wanted to clear that up because I think it's very important, first of all, that all are registered to vote, that this vote is available for seniors. So don't say, oh, it's not important this year, I'm not going to do it. We live in a country that we have this gift that is given to us that we can vote, and we should honor that. We should honor that this is a privilege that we could vote, right? So we should honor that, and we should stand up and be the largest voting bloc. I know in the last election, we came nose and nose as far as the percentage of people voting the seniors with the millennials, that it was kind of like a tie race there. Well, we're going to get back to that, but right now we got Vita's Pearls of Wisdom. There's a few things I want to talk to you about, my dear friends. One thing is, this telephone calls that we're getting. So many of us have been getting telephone calls saying this is the IRS and that we're in jeopardy of something. Forget it. The IRS isn't calling anybody over the phone, so don't fall for it. And, I just went to a seminar at the Gurnee Police Department about a week ago on all the scams that are out there. And as seniors, we are targeted, and they're targeting us. That's why we have to use these little gray cells up there to keep our noggin when we come on the phone. And the investigator that was talking was telling us, he says that he really gave all the information to his mother, who's 92 years old. And she got this phone call and said, this is your grandson. And she said, oh, is this my grandson, Mike? And he said, yeah, Grandma. And she said, you're a liar, you're a scammer. I don't have a grandson, Mike. So we have to be sharp like that when these phone calls come, how to handle them, that they're not calling some nincompoop. Remember, we're the generation that has lived the longest. So what we have to do is keep our brains sharp because we have generations that coming after us that's going to follow. Now, I live in a senior building, so I get all the news of what's happening in the building, and there's been so many people falling in our buildings. So I've kind of taken a measurement where what is the weakest time that people are falling, and I found out that it's at night. When somebody gets up to go to the washroom, that's when falls have occurred, where when you get out of bed, this is my advice to you. If you have a walker at hand, keep that walker next to your bed. And when you get up, sit on the side of your bed just for a couple minutes to get your bearings, grab the walker. Always have a lighted path right to your washroom that you're not fumbling, and see that you don't leave anything on the floor. And see, what I've taken out of my apartment is any loose rugs, because you can get your foot underneath it, and then you want to use preventative measures. Believe me, this 1 ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. If we are this generation that's living this long, keeping the smarts, know how to vote, know how to keep our bones, and know how to keep ourselves in healthy shape. We have to remember in answering the phone never to give any information about your Social Security, your bank account numbers, or any money that's to go out to anybody. what I always say is somebody is soliciting, send me a letter, give me your number, I'll call you back. But most solicitation that is over the phone is not valid, so check it out. And if it's something legitimate, they will send you a form and you could have the time to check it out. Don't let anybody rush you into anything. You're smart, you know how to handle it, and you can. Now let's get back to what else do we have to learn about voting. Okay, let's get back to this voting measure. Now, what's the next thing that we need to go into?
Well, we just focused a lot, Vita, on registration and making sure that you're registered. But the other thing that we have done to get ready for the November election, because we know there's going to be a big turnout, is we have unveiled our sort of campaign to be a couch potato voter. And that is, we have a very active vote-by-mail program that anybody can take advantage of. You used to, at one time in Illinois, have to have an excuse to vote absentee, but now anyone can vote by mail. And again, on the same web page, and I'm quite sure that McHenry and Cook both have the same opportunities and the same information on their websites. But if you go on our website on that page and click on the November 8 election and look for the little link, you can request a vote-by-mail ballot online. You can download a form off of our website and fill in a form and mail it in. Or if you would rather, just call our office at 847-377-2400 and tell the receptionist you want to request an application to vote by mail. We will, once we receive your application, we will mail you a ballot to your home, or if you're going to be away, whatever address you give to us. You fill out your ballot, you put it back in the certification envelope, mail it to our office. As long as it is postmarked by the end of the day, election day, we then have 14 days to receive it in our office and it will be counted. So if you're at all worried about being away or bad weather or any other possible complication, please vote by mail.
And so the postmark would have to be like before midnight on
November 8th. And if you
before midnight on November 8th,
yes,
right?
And if you wait till the last day, my recommendation is to actually take it to the post office and watch them put the postmark on it, because we have had people in the past who've said, oh, well, I put it in the outgoing mailbox in my office the day before the election.
But that doesn't have the
postmark. But
postmark.
that doesn't necessarily ensure that it has the postmark. So yes, make sure it has the postmark and we will get it. Again, the other option too is to vote early. We have 14 early voting sites around the county. Some of them have Saturday and Sunday hours. Some of them have hours until 7 p.m. at night. And in fact, we have 4 of those early voting sites open on the last Monday before the election until 7 p.m. at night.
So they can call your office and find out where the early sites are and what the hours would be, correct?
Absolutely. And again, on that same website, there is a list of all of the early voting sites, the locations, and the hours. And again, no matter where you live in the county, you can go to any one of those 14 sites, whichever is the most convenient. Say maybe you're out doing errands or you're at work, you can go to the closest one to whenever you have time to vote.
Well, getting back to this mail-in voting, now that little yellow card that we were talking about, could you explain that? That if they sign this little yellow information, then they would constantly get
yes, we do have a program.
It's a permanent?
Yes, and it's on a yellow card, and it's being part of our regular program where if you fill out the yellow card, and you can call our office, we can send you the yellow card. That means that automatically at every election that you check on the yellow card, we will send you an application automatically, and you can fill it out and send it back to us, and we'll mail you your ballot. Or if you just want to do it for this presidential election, there's a white form you can fill out. But if you want to be part of the regular program, we do have a yellow card that we can send out. We have a lot of students that take advantage of that also. In fact, I will say that as of Friday, this past Thursday was the first day we could mail out ballots. We have already mailed out 12,000 vote-by-mail ballots to residents around Lake County. So a lot of people are taking advantage of this opportunity.
Oh, that's a large number.
Yes.
Now, one thing, I know it's late in the voting season now, but for training for judges, say a person still is interested in partaking as a judge, and I know that your advanced judges, that's a closed thing, but there's probably still some openings. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that, what it entails to be a judge.
Yeah, Vita, you're absolutely right. We cannot run elections without election judges. It takes about 1,600 election judges to run an election in Lake County. In addition, we have other early voting judges. We also have judges in our office because we have to process those vote-by-mail ballots that come in. So if you are interested in being an election judge, you do have to go through 2 1.5-hour training sessions, and we do have a few training sessions left. So call our office, again, that 377-2400 number, and tell them you're interested in serving as an election judge, and we will contact you and tell you when the training sessions are.
Well, what are the qualifications? They have to be a certain age?
You just have to be over 18, a registered voter in
registered
Lake County.
voter.
And you do have to tell us what party you are affiliated with, because the law requires us to have a balance of both Republicans and Democrats in
Is there an
each polling
independent?
place. No, it's just the established political parties have to be represented in,
Just the established.
in the polling place.
Now, well, what does a judge do? How they service? There's different.
There are different tasks for the different judges. When you first come into a polling place, one set of judges will check you in on our new electronic poll book equipment. Another set of judges will issue your ballot, and that's very important in an election because in this election we have 616 different ballot styles. Those judges make sure you get the right ballot. Then the ballot box judge will assist you if you need it when you're actually putting your ballot in the tabulator. And we have special judges that are there in the event that we do have registration in the polling place on election day. Those judges will assist you. Or if you need to vote a provisional ballot, or if you have some other special circumstance, we do have other judges that will assist you.
Okay, so that if you're interested, you can call in. And let's go through now and let's recap the whole process that we're talking about in this voting season. First of all, they need to register, right?
That's correct, and they can do that in person up until October 11th. They can do it online up until October 23rd, or you can grace register and vote during early voting October 24th to November 7th.
Okay, and now once the person is registered to vote, then there's different ways of voting. One way of voting is mail-in. Let's go over the mail-in one time.
That's correct. If you are registered to vote, you can request a vote-by-mail ballot either online or with a paper form or by calling our office, and we will mail you a ballot. You can fill it in and put it in the envelope and send it back to us in our office.
Or you
postmarked no later than November 8th.
Or you can sign a yellow card and then you'll be on the permanent list.
That's
right?
correct.
Then also there is early voting.
There is.
Okay, let's go over the early voting.
There is early voting in 14 early voting sites spread all throughout Lake County, and anyone, no matter where you live in the county, can go to any one of those sites. And some of them, again, are open on Saturdays and Sundays, and some have evening sites. The list of all of those sites and the times is on our website.
Which, give the website again.
That's lakecountyclerk.info, and that takes you to our homepage, and over on the left side of the screen there is an icon that's entitled November 8 Election, and if you click on that, you will have all of the links to and a list of all of the early voting sites. And in fact, if you are registered, you can even click on and see a copy of your actual ballot before you go to the polling place.
And if you live in DuPage County, McHenry County, Evanston, Vernon Hills, Lake Forest, Lake Bluff, you can go to your local library and go to the reference desk, and they'll have a list of places where you can get all the information on early voting or mail-in voting. That is all available to you, so there is no reason that you should neglect your vote. And we went over this already, but we can go over it one more time, the nursing home, because there could be people that are listening in the nursing home, or there could be their relatives are listening, that this is available to anybody. If you'll go over that one more time, Carla.
We do have 22 nursing homes that are certified to us by the state, in which we will have already gone to those nursing homes to ensure that the people who want to participate are registered. And then on the Friday before the election, we will go back, election judges will go back to those sites, and all those individuals will be able to vote. If you're in a nursing home that's not part of the program that's been certified to us, you can have a relative assist you perhaps with a vote by mail ballot or take you to an early voting site.
And then how about, how does it work for the armed services like that are overseas? Do they do mail-in?
Yes, we have, there is a special federal postcard application and ballot request that they can even submit to our office from overseas. It also applies to students who are studying abroad. And we can email them back their ballot, then they fill out their ballot and mail it back to us, again, just the deadline for postmark. We've already received and responded to about 1,000 of those overseas military and student requests to vote by mail.
Carla, you're like a walking information bureau, and we're so delighted to have you. Now, say somebody has some question, do they have permission to call your office and ask your office? Why don't you give that number one more time, because you have so much information and we want the information to go out to our seniors.
Please call our office. Again, that number is 847-377-2400. That's our main number. We always have a receptionist answer the phone during business hours, and just tell us what you need or what your question is, and we will refer you to the proper person and we will get you the information. Our office is committed to serving the citizens of Lake County, and I know other counties, McHenry, DuPage, and Cook, have the same commitment. So please call your county clerk's office to get information.
Carla, you're like an information encyclopedia. I want you to look in that camera and tell people where your passion lies and what are you getting out of being county clerk. Right here.
I have loved being the county clerk. It's a very busy job. There's a little bit of stress. There's a lot of attention on elections. We do a lot of other things in the office, vital records, property tax extensions. We are the clerks, official clerks for the Lake County Board. But my passion is doing the best job we can, the best service to all of the citizens who come into Lake County.
Oh, that's good. You know what it is now, when you out there come to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. You know why? Because the best is yet to come. What we want y'all to do this week is catch the spirit and don't forget to vote. God bless you. We love you.